I'm late.
No, you got here right on time.
No, I'm late.
It's the Late Show.
Sorry, I'm late.
You're too late!
The wizard is never late.
Can I help you? Yeah, I'm gonna see the show.
But not to come late.
You're late, man. Always late, huh?
The hour grows late.
But is he already too late to save his friends?
You're late. I'm not paying for this.
You're too late.
And I'm like, dude, fine. Let's call it that. I would say yes, it lives up to the hype. What little hype I had for it was pretty damn good. I might leave that part out.
Okay, and take two. We're talking about Clerks today.
Clerks
Clerks.
came out in 1990...
25 years ago, so
94.
94.
All right. The year before I was born.
2 years after I was. Fun fact, I watched this movie for the first time on the 25-year anniversary to the day of it coming out in Sundance. I know because I happened to see that on Kevin Smith's Instagram shortly after I finished watching the movie. I'm like, well, shit, that's cool.
And I saw it a week before its 25th anniversary, so...
Perfect.
I'm
Perfect
not as
time.
special.
Nah.
This actually is the rare movie in our list. I think it's the first movie in our list.
So far.
Maybe.
First one.
That neither of us have actually seen.
Yes.
We are both late to the show.
We are both very late to the show for Clerks.
Clerks.
So I will ask you first then, Jake. Have you ever worked a job like this? Did you ever work a convenience store, customer service, customer-facing job?
Okay, I worked at McDonald's. Yes.
Okay, so you can relate to the offense of the movie
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. I mean, for as maybe bitchy as I thought. I just forgot his name.
Customers?
No, the main character,
Dante.
For as bitchy as I feel like Dante was, if I think back, yeah, that job sucks.
Yeah. And I have 10 years total customer service experience. 9 of those were customer facing. So that that movie really hit home.
Schnucks for 10 years.
I worked at the Highlander / Schnooks. I worked there for 9 years total, and then I had a year where I worked at Verizon.
Oh my god. 9 years?
9 years, yeah. I started there when I was 16.
Jesus Christ.
2008.
How did that fly over my head?
I started in 08, and I worked till 2018 doing customer service. For 10 fucking years, I did customer service.
Jesus.
Never again if I can avoid it.
You understand Dante better than anybody.
We
Go ahead.
we definitely wanted to be Randall, but I was definitely more Dante. We all wish we could be Randall when we work a job like that.
Right.
So what was your impression of the film?
You know what? I liked it, but I guess since I had started listening to Kevin Smith podcasts
Okay.
and, listening to those and him talking about his journey through film school, dropping out of film school and making this movie. I guess in my head, I just kind of hyped it up to be bigger than what I thought it was going to be.
Bigger how?
Bigger as in like this huge monumental thing that would win Sundance and also get him nods at different film festivals with Scott Mosier, who was he was the weird guy who talked really slow, the idiot. In the movie
right.
with the hat.
Yeah.
Scott Mosier helped him make this movie.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess I just blew it up in my mind to be like this great, like, monumental piece of cinema. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it is for Kevin Smith and stuff because it is what got him his start. So I mean, it obviously is a good movie, with some regard. But like, it just kind of surprised me a little bit how student film it did feel.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Like, that was, like, I think one of the first things that struck me. I'm like, just like, with, like, especially big budget movies, and a lot of it, as you definitely know, a lot of it comes down to lighting and shit. So the lighting was, like, such where, it felt like this was just somebody, like, and it basically was just somebody's like, I've got a camera and some lights, let's fucking film something.
Yeah, and when he talks about it, so he made this movie for, I think roughly around $27,000.
Shit.
And when he talks about it, he says like they didn't even have a boom pole, so they just would like tape a microphone to the end of a mop handle and use that.
It works.
Yeah. So when you think about it, I mean, it makes total sense, especially a guy who dropped out of film school and then he's just decided we're gonna make this movie.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Working nights because he worked at that store.
Yeah, that was the legitimate store he worked at. Yeah.
So he was allowed to film there when they were closed. So, you know, he had to make it work somehow. But yeah, no, that was definitely like one of the first things that struck me about that movie. It was just like, it's like, I think back to the first short I directed, which is garbage. Unfortunately, and I don't blame any of the actors in it. It's entirely my fault. Everybody else was doing the best with what I gave them, and I apparently did not give them much. And I'm just like, shit though. But like, I felt it's like, if I had better lighting and stuff, my first short would have looked like this, because I also made it black and white to deal with lighting issues.
Right. With his was also cost though too, because it costed more to get colored film.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is obviously he was working with film. But I enjoyed it. I actually really liked it. It was less funny than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's
it was
one thing I thought it was going to be different about it also.
Yeah, it was like...
It was a very existential crises movie.
Yeah, like there was funny parts and it had a lightness of tone to it, but it was not like I was expecting like a laugh out loud constant jokes compared to something like Dogma, which I think is hysterical.
Yeah, this one was more kind of dark comedy.
Yeah.
With a little more lean into the drama, but...
Yeah, still, I still thought it was really good. It was definitely, I'd say it's more art house than I expected it to be, really.
Yeah.
But it makes sense considering how people think of Clerks, too, sometimes, so.
Clerks also, or Clerks 2?
Clerks also.
But, and like you said, it basically is a student film.
Yeah.
Because watching it, I mean, none of the fucking kids in my class made a feature film, but... Like,
if they did.
It looked very much like a film we'd all, like, one of us would have turned in, and then we'd all discuss it at the end of the day and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it kind of felt interesting to watch this movie that I know made someone's career, and then still critique it. Not in a way of saying, like, oh, like you would with a superhero movie, why'd Iron Man do this, why'd they do that? Yeah. Like, almost critiquing technical things, like, you could have done this a little bit this way, and it would have... showing something else or whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because I think, like, and I get it. You look at a lot of people's first films if they're available, and the thing that always gets me is editing. Like, I always notice, like, especially in early films like this, like, editing can be so weird. Like, they'll hang on a shot for too long, or like they'll cut away to something else while someone's talking for some reason, and then cut back. And it's like, well, you kind of questions, like, either why did they do that? Why did they... Now, again, we have the benefit of, and when we're working, to be able to do stuff digitally.
Right.
I imagine it's like, there's only so many times you want to pull that film reel out and, like, cut it at the right spot and glue the reels back together and make it all work, get that just at that right frame. So many times you want to send it through the projector and be like, fuck, I fucked up again.
Right. Well, at that point, they may have even had access to an Avid where you load the film into and then you can make the cuts digitally and it cuts it for you. Like, that's when it was called an Avid. The Avid was a machine that you loaded the film into. Before Avid was just a software.
Interesting. I legitimately did not know that.
Like, you'll still hear old people in, like, film school and stuff, and they'll call Avid the program the Avid.
But not as like the internet's type of old person thing. It's
almost just, like that, though.
Almost like that. But they're also still technically
at least
correct.
They're referring to the machine that they used to use.
Yeah. Interesting.
But
I've learned something today on this podcast.
So, I mean, I don't know if they would have had access to that at all in New Jersey.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't, but beyond just what he's able to get his hands on.
Right. Yeah. I
Unless
wonder what camera it was filmed on. Was it like Super 8 or something?
No idea. Unless he edited in camera a lot too, which I guess is possible. Because I know that's how Rodriguez did El Mariachi, is he edited that in camera.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
He did a lot of in camera editing. But yeah, Rodriguez basically paid for El Mariachi with basically medical experiments that he did. So.
Oh, like
yeah, he did like
medicine testing and stuff.
Yeah, no, he didn't perform medical tests. He was medically tested upon.
His actors were all Frankenstein monsters. That's why it was such cheap labor. His crew was just
really. Well, the crew were the actors in that, but we're not talking about El Mariachi.
He cut the arms off his crew and mounted boom poles on their stumps. That's how he got the crew to work. Well, El Mariachi was one of the movies that inspired Kevin Smith to make this movie.
Yep.
That and Slackers. I don't remember who did
Slackers.
that one.
The big one I always saw was Richard Linklater's Slackers.
Slackers, okay.
Yeah.
That's the one he's talked about. This
Yeah.
is what really inspired him to just make a movie about people talking about the stuff that him and his friends talk about.
Yeah.
So.
But I remember actually hearing an interview, I think, with Kevin Smith. Well, no, I know it was with Kevin Smith, but I don't remember if I watched the interview, if I read it somewhere, but how he was talking, because he was kind of friends with Tarantino, and at one point, because Pulp Fiction came out the same year Clerks came out. And
Right. Well, this movie got bought by Miramax from Sundance, I believe. So.
Well, and Rodriguez, Tarantino, and Kevin Smith all kind of came up right around the same time. Basically, it's just these guys who liked movies and just made their own movies. Mm-hmm. But apparently Tarantino was talking to Smith and told him the first movie he made was very similar to Clerks, but that got destroyed in the editing lab. And Kevin Smith was like, "Shit, I'm glad that happened, because I wouldn't have a job if Tarantino made that movie first."
I wonder what a Tarantino version of Clerks would look like.
I mean, watch the diner scene in Reservoir Dogs, and you'd probably have a
pretty
pretty good that for an hour and a half.
They move to different locations, and then they talk about a bag of chips at a convenience store. I'm not going to spend 99 cents. Why should I spend 99 cents? Leave a penny, save a penny. Why would I leave a penny? No one's giving me a penny.
And I was going to say they'd say fuck more, but they said fuck a lot in Clerks.
They said fuck a lot in Clerks.
According to IMDb trivia, 97 times.
Just shy of that 100, Kevin. What happened?
Those are
That's
rookie
bad
numbers.
writing.
Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
I think. You know what? Weren't even any Edwards in it. What the hell? Oh God!
This isn't a Tarantino movie.
See,
that's what I'm curious
about.
That's what would have separated us.
So we both like the movie.
Yes.
Like I said, my thing was more of a. I don't even want to call it shock, because that's playing up my reaction to it too much. I was just surprised in general at what it was from what I assumed it was going to be in my head.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a disappointment surprise. It was just, this is way different than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. That's basically what I had too. It's like, this is what I thought it was going to be, because what I know of Kevin Smith is typically more of a comedic director, writer. But I'm not disappointed in what I'm watching. This is still really pretty good. And I
definitely thought it was going to be more Dogma.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I could see how someone would start there and then work their way to Dogma. Because he kind of leaned a little more into, the, more of the Silent Bob and Jay and Silent Bob stuff. That kind of is more like what, the stuff with them and Clerks is a little more kind of like what Dogma and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back are kind of like.
Gotcha.
So let's talk about the quality of the movie, as if we have any right to.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, we can talk about our own experience. I don't know if you've I know you've got experience on film sets. And obviously, I think talking about this as both a first film and meaning it no negative way, kind of student film feeling that this movie had, do you have any comparisons from anything you've worked on where you're like, I've seen that, or from shit you've watched, since you went to actual film school compared to myself who muddled it together as best I could through it at NIU. Have you seen anything like that? Like, or if you notice those issues in like student films and things like that.
I mean, I would say it's way easier to make movies now. So, I mean, if there are like any mistakes, and well, this sounds kind of arrogant to say, if there are big problems in a student's film, they probably weren't working on it long enough. Whereas if there's big issues in a film made, say, 25 years ago, it could be not maybe that they didn't work on it long enough. Maybe they were just limited by their own technology. Yeah. So I would say, as far as students in like a film school, your only shortcomings come from ignorance and laziness, really. Yeah. It's what you're not putting into it. Because there really are no limitations for students in a film school.
Yeah. Because they'll make sure you've got everything you need.
Right. So, I mean, I would say it just makes it that much more impressive that Kevin Smith was able to pull off making a feature film, 1 or 2 years out of dropping out of film school.
Sure. I honestly didn't even know he actually went to film school.
Yeah, he did. It was in Vancouver, I think.
Is he actually from Canada?
No, he just loves Canada. Okay. He's from Jersey.
Okay.
I can't remember what town in Jersey, but one of them.
Nothing wrong if he's from Canada.
He just really likes Canada.
He likes Canada and hockey a lot. So
he doesn't like hockey. He likes the aesthetic of the hockey jersey.
Wow.
And actually, he hasn't been wearing those in quite some time. It's just been blazers over T-shirts.
I'm going to imagine, though, a lot of it is he can attribute to that weight loss, and it becomes a moo-moo after a certain point.
Right. I think he said those exact words, actually. But yeah, I mean, as far as the technical quality of the movie, it does feel very student filmy, which we've already said before. But I don't think that, looking at it in the context of it being Kevin Smith's first movie, first feature film at that. I mean,
yeah, like first to anything, really.
I can't really fault it on that, because it's more about the content of the movie as opposed to, and like the technical issues aren't really that big. I mean, like, it's in black and white, but a lot of people would probably make the argument saying, "Oh, that's so much more artistic or avant-garde, whatever." When
he made that decision, like, for the same reason for my first directorial short that I made it black and white. It's like, I fucked up the lighting and the coloring so bad that just, if you make it black and white, nobody will know.
Right. That and just the money issue in general, too.
And then, yeah, obviously, back then, like nowadays on digital, you just like, fuck it, it's color, and you should be able to color correct everything. But when you can't get 2 shots in a row of the same room from a different angle to match in color, you fucked up real bad on all of that. But that was on me. We're not talking about my short film. We're talking about the Clerks today.
I'm kind of surprised he hasn't. I mean, he's fucking rich. I'm surprised he hasn't put some money in to just colorize the whole movie.
I don't think he wants to. I think Kevin Smith, to me, strikes me as the type of person who's like, that's the thing I made at the time. That was a product of when I made it, and I am proud of the product that I put out then. I don't want to mess with it.
I'm not even saying like he's not proud of it, just because why not?
I think that's the reason,
shits and giggles kind of thing. It's like, let's see what it looks like if it were in color.
For me, that just doesn't seem like something Kevin Smith would even care to do.
Well, Kevin, I'd like to see it. Just so you know.
Do we want to talk about the story at all? Because we've really mostly talked technical stuff and not really our thoughts on the story beyond me complaining about also having been in a customer service job and understanding how Dante feels.
Right. Yeah, let's talk about the story. Do you want to talk about how do we approach?
I don't really know how to attack it. And shit, there was one particular chapter that I wanted to mention, and now I can't remember which one it was.
So that's actually also interesting to say Quentin Tarantino made a movie very similar to Clerks, because Clerks has the chapter set up in most Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yeah. So I'm sure that would have also happened in Tarantino's version of Clerks.
Do you think Tarantino... Well, no, because Pulp Fiction came out at the same time as Clerks.
Yeah.
So I guess not. I was going to say, do you think he just told Kevin Smith, hey, I thought about doing some shit like that? That way he had an excuse to do it in his next movie. Say, like, yeah, I already did something just like that, but it burnt. So so that's why I'm doing it in this one.
No, actually, no, Tarantino...
He stole the idea.
Tarantino's first movie was originally actually called My Best Friend's Birthday. And that's the one that got destroyed in the film lab.
Right, I know. I'm saying... But when he said my movie is very similar to Clerks, maybe he saw the title cards and he's like, I really like that idea. So I'm going to say my movie was very similar to this guy's thinking. Mm-hmm. That way I can steal the title cards idea for Pulp Fiction.
Except Reservoir Dogs also had title cards.
Fuck. Fine. Why are you trying to stop me starting a riff between Kevin Smith and Quentin Tarantino?
I don't know, man. I'm just...
So, yeah, with the story though, I mean, I'd say using the title cards is probably a good idea actually, because a lot of the sections of the movie do feel kind of episodic.
Yeah, like there's not a lot of connective tissue between the two chapters, if you will, or between each chapter. Like it's just kind of like the main through line is that his ex is getting married. Like that's the main through line.
And even before you find that out, it's just Dante's whining.
Yeah. The worst part is he wasn't even supposed to be there today.
Yeah.
But it's... And I think that works because, like, I remember watching... I was about halfway through, and I'm just like, are we ever going to get a reason for Jay and Silent Bob even existing in this movie? And then it kind of just dawned on me. I'm just like, this is just supposed to be the day in the life. Those people just are fucking there.
Right.
That's... the truth of that story is they're just out there. That's it. So it's like, okay, well, that's why those characters are there. It's Silent Bob has his one line at the end of the movie, and it like gives an epiphany to Dante. But other than that, it's just like they're just kind of there because they are.
Well, yeah, and Silent Bob gets one line in every movie he's in. Actually, he got 2 in Dogma.
Apparently, he got in one of the movies. He actually has quite a few lines.
In Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, he has a monologue where he curses out Jay because he's trying to give him signals, but he's not talking, and then Jay just doesn't get it. And like, I think they were trying to get on this car, and it drives away. He's like, "You idiot! You're so fucking dumb!" And he just yells at Jay, and then they walk off. But in Dogma, he says, no ticket, when he throws the 2 angels off the train. And then at the very end, when they say they've been pardoned of their sins, he just says, thanks. So, yeah, I liked his line in Clerks. But it's really, like, I mean, I've heard Kevin Smith's voice before he went to film school. Yeah. And it was not the voice you hear now. It was kind of like this. And, he's like I don't want to say sweet voice, but it was like a child's voice. In this...
Because Kevin Smith has a pretty deep voice when he talks.
Right. Actually sounds similar to your voice. But, and then in this, it kind of sounds like a mix between the two. It doesn't quite sound Kevin Smith, but it definitely has a little more balls on it than before he went to film school.
Shit, what was I going to say about that? I actually was reading on IMDb today, and obviously IMDb, anybody can add trivia to shit, so, who knows how accurate it is. But apparently Silent Bob's line was supposed to be for Jay, but Jason Mewes kept having issues with the line, so Kevin Smith just said the line.
Okay.
And so that's why Silent Bob has any lines in the movie. Otherwise, he would have been completely silent for the entire movie.
I like that he gets like one little moment to shine, though.
Yeah. I think that works for Silent Bob. It's like, he only speaks when he needs to speak.
Right. I 100% thought that when his ex-girlfriend went to the bathroom and had sex with someone, it was going to be Silent Bob. Yep. Like he was just going to come walking out.
Yeah, I kept waiting for it.
And then maybe he dropped the line, thanks, again, like in Dogma. But, yeah, that was like, whoa. that was where I was like, oh, this movie's is a little bit darker than I thought.
Yeah, that was not a normal occurrence in my 10 years of customer service experience, was people having sex with dead guys.
That didn't happen at Schnucks?
No, not once.
Oh, shit.
Did that happen at that McDonald's you worked at? At McDonald's?
More than twice a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it happened a lot.
How many people were fucking dying in that McDonald's?
Dude, it's McDonald's. Their fucking hearts were exploding in the booth, okay? They were
McDonald's.
suffocating with their guts pressed against the table. They couldn't breathe.
McDonald's, if you'd like this vicious attack against your character to stop, we'll accept sponsorships for cash.
They already gave $2.3 million to your mom's house. That's not a joke. To help them design their site. It's Tom Segura's podcast.
Oh! Gotcha.
They're sponsored by McDonald's for $2.3 million.
Nice. When you said your mom's house, I was...
You thought I meant Kim
yes.
Rosenblum?
Yes. Yeah.
On Straw Lane, Roscoe, Illinois, 61073.
Yeah, I'll take this one. I'll edit that. Just cut that part out.
Well, they don't know the address. There's lots of houses there.
You'll figure it out. It's not a long road.
But okay, so let's just talk about the character Dante then.
Yeah.
So his whole arc is that he rolls out of his closet,
Yep.
possibly hungover.
Probably hungover.
He gets called into work, really complains to the person about it, and he's only supposed to work for a few hours anyway.
Because he's got a hockey game.
He's got a hockey game at 2. It's always at 2. Mm-hmm. It's at the park.
Yep.
So he goes in, he sets up, he can't even quite set up all the way. The doors won't open because someone shoved gum in the locks. Which I wonder if that was like really a real thing, or if they really just couldn't get those.
I read
Shutters
apparently
open.
because they had to work at night at the store.
Oh,
they kept
makes
the
an
shutters
excuse
down
for it to be nighttime.
Yeah, so that
Genius.
Yeah, so that it's like, well, now we don't have to contend with the fact that why is it night out at 10 in the morning.
Nice one, Kevin Smith. Good on you.
Good. Well, I noticed several times, like you could see the door in the background. I'm like, that's nighttime outside, and it ain't night yet.
Yeah, then I wonder. Well, I guess most of those shots were pretty much done outside anyway. Like the shots outside the movie store, and then of Jay and Silent Bob during the day. That's easy to do from outside.
Yeah.
And then there's just the one shot during the day where the horde of people are trying to get into the convenience store.
Yeah. While they're at the wake.
But that's such a quick cut that'd be really easy to do while the store's open.
Yep.
So Dante gets to the store, he opens up, whatever, and it's basically just him dealing with shitbag customers the whole day.
Yep.
So it really is just a day in the life thing. I mean, and then you kind of see how each shitty moment exacerbates
The next one.
well, that, but also how shitty he feels about his own life.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, the main moral of the movie, is you have to take ownership of your shit.
Yep.
You can't just pass it off on every person who does something wrong.
Yeah. Which was Randall's point at the end of the movie, really, the thesis statement for the film.
Right. And I wonder if that, I mean, you write what you know, so I'm assuming Kevin Smith was probably dealing with some things like that anyway.
Because he worked at that store.
Well, that, yes, and he was really angsty when he was younger. I mean, judging from the tape I heard that he made is for his parents, where he just monologues into a camera. The one where I told you his voice sounded really soft and baby.
Yeah.
He made a tape for his parents before he went to film school, and he sounds angsty as hell.
Interesting.
So I mean, I wonder if that was just something he seen someone else go through, and that's how he knew to write the thesis of the movie is don't put your shit on someone else, or if someone taught him that lesson.
Yeah.
Or what? How exactly that came about.
That's an excellent question.
What'd you think about his girlfriend's character?
At first, I think, I don't know. I liked how the character by the time that it was over, I'm like, okay, I really liked his girlfriend's the character of
The ex-girlfriend or the current girlfriend?
current girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about also.
Whose name was shit. I just watched this movie yesterday. I want to say Vanessa. No. Veronica? Started with a V.
I think it's Veronica.
I'll look it up real quick. Dat Veronica Vaughn. Different movie. Yeah, by the end of the movie, I actually really, really liked the character, and also, obviously, both of the ex and the current girlfriend were simply there as extensions for Dante's. Veronica was her name.
Okay.
Yeah, I really liked the character by the end, and the fact that she knew what was up and that she wanted what was best for Dante, but because Dante and Randall are both assholes.
Right.
Veronica was like a good thing in Dante's life that he just could give two shits about, basically. And he had that realization that he actually cared for her too late.
Right. Well, in the end of the movie, though, it's hopeful for them both anyway.
Yeah, he's like, I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'm calling off tomorrow. So, and then he'll go, and of course, it is telling that he goes and visits his ex in the hospital first. But
right.
To be fair, she did just have an unbelievably
very
traumatized
traumatized
event.
But I would think also maybe he's the last person she wants to see.
Also true. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I was just thinking of the movie in general. I liked her character. I liked all the characters in the movie, honestly. I thought they were all pretty well written.
Right.
How about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, all the characters are they're kind of turned up to 11 of what they could be. They're all very reactive, except for Randall, who is just out there to everyone else also.
Yeah. He's just...
he's 11 in his own way.
Yeah.
He's not a reactive character where, as soon as he hears something he doesn't like, he switches to, he gets chaotic and crazy.
No, he does.
Not really.
Yeah, he does.
He stays pretty calm throughout the whole movie until the very end.
No, when Dante told him, he's like, you're a clerk. You're supposed to be nice to the customers and everything. First thing he does is spit his water on a customer.
Yeah, but that's him kind of in his own groove. That's not him, coming out of who he is to, all of a sudden, the scene I'm thinking about in particular is when Dante and Veronica are talking about how many people they've been with. Yeah. And then he finds out that she's blown 36 guys. 37 including him, by the way.
I'm 37?
So, I'm thinking more so how something will set Dante off completely. Yeah. And how something sets off Veronica completely. Mm-hmm. Randall is kind of always just himself throughout the whole movie until the end when Dante really turns on him.
Yeah. Well, and Randall even says that earlier. He's like, you complain constantly about being miserable. And then Dante's like, well, you're in the same shit as me. And Randall's like, yeah, but I'm comfortable with it. So don't worry, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So Randall knows where he is in life, but he's fine with it. Whereas Dante's like, I could do something better with my life, but I'm choosing not to because it's just easier to stick to this path.
Right. Oh, man, that movie spoke to me at the end.
Yeah, good God, when he said the whole... it was like Randall's finishing monologue there right at the end.
Well, and Veronica's too, when she finally chews him out. Yeah. Before they actually have their fight.
Before Dante fights Randall. Okay, I was going to say that was a fight. Well, it was more of a one-sided fight with Veronica and Dante, but...
So, that, and then when Randall also... talks to Dante. God, I'm struggling. Those two scenes really made me think, fuck. Yeah. So I would say those two scenes really are the best payoff of the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
As in the payoff is good, is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. Not to say you're kind of just slogging through the rest of the movie, but I would say
it builds to a point.
Right. There's not a lot of substance in the movie, except for just to build to those points.
Yes. Basically the whole movie you just watch Dante kind of get shit on. Yeah. From customers, from Randall, more customers. And then it just finally all comes to a head right at the end.
And instead of taking all those points of being shit on and trying to spin it positive, he just lets it eat him up until he blows up on his 2 people that actually cared about him.
Yep.
And then they tell him, no, you're being a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Take some fucking charge in your life. Because like Veronica said, she's like, I came here for you to try and make you better. And then Randall basically is like, hey, dipshit, all the problems happen in your life. A lot of those are in your control of how you react to them. Mm-hmm. And yeah, a lot of that, just like that ending bit, I agree, really spoke to me as well. Like that was just like, shit, man. And I feel like that's coming back around to Kevin Smith's thesis where he's just like, fuck this. Fuck working at the store. I'm going to make a goddamn movie. Mm-hmm. Win, lose, or draw, I'm going to make a fucking movie.
Then you can say you've done.
And then I can say I've done. I read that on another IMDb trivia. The reason he put himself in the movie was that even if it bombed, he could like show the movie and be like, that's me. I made this movie and I am in it.
Well, that's a good idea.
That's I don't know.
I think we're gonna have a couple cameos in whatever movies we write now. Also,
yep. Yeah, I think the bar scene. I think will be some patrons in the background. It's like that's us.
Currently writing the same movie we're starring in.
Oh yeah, no, we were writing that shit as we were filming it. We were making that shit up as we went along.
We didn't even have character names yet. That's all ADR every time you hear a name.
That's why nobody ever says a name while their face is on camera. Or they have something in front of their mouth.
As far as social relevance goes, I mean, I'd say all the truths in that movie are kind of universal truths. There's nothing really that pertains specifically to the 90s except for outfits.
Yeah. Outfits, fucking house phones.
Maybe Jay saying faggot a few times, but to be honest, that type of person would say it these days anyway.
Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, that was... And for whatever reason, every time you say Jay, I think Silent Bob. Like, in my head, that character is Silent Bob.
It's because in your head you complete to Jay and Silent Bob.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point.
But, yeah, I wouldn't say anything really, like, there's no part of the movie that relies on it coming out in the 90s. I mean, no. I feel like this movie could come out at any point and still be true.
Well, yeah, and, like, that general malaise of working in a fucking shitty customer service job.
Right.
Like, there are grades of customer service, and I've not worked one that's not been a shitty customer service job, though Verizon was slightly better, mainly because of pay and benefits. But you know, you work a shitty customer service job, doesn't matter when you're doing it or really what kind. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, Randall and Dante had that back and forth. It's like, well, what type of idiot customers do you have? Or, you know, like, what kind of customers do you have to deal with? It's like, that's a question that works if you're at, like, a fucking Quickie Mart type of place, if you are a waiter, a wait staff at a restaurant, any of that. It's like, these are the type of people we have to deal with. This is the bullshit I have to put up with in this job every day for basically, you know, the shittiest wages possible, having to deal with the shittiest people at their shittiest time. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that I think is why that movie worked too so well. Is like, Kevin Smith lived that, and so he's like, he knows how to put that truth into it, and I think, yeah, that works. 90s now, could have come out earlier, could have come out a little later. Anyway, I think the movie still would have worked very well.
Right. So what kind of movie that already exists could you compare this one to? Like, as far as getting someone else to see this movie, how would you explain, oh, it's kind of like this mixed with that? Or how would you what kind of person would you say would like this movie?
Shit, man. Honestly, this I could very much see this being on like a film snobs type of movies to watch, because it is fairly art house. Kevin Smith fans obviously are going to enjoy it, but they've probably already seen it. Real quick, I'll say I've only seen 3 Kevin Smith films: Dogma, Yoga Hosers, and then Clerks, in that order. Mm-hmm.
I would say a lot of college freshmen should watch this movie.
Yeah.
Just so they see that nothing is going to be inherently awesome once they graduate, and that life's going to be as good as you make it, because
otherwise you're going to be stuck working that shit job that you hate.
I think a lot of people think like once you graduate, it's like, oh, everything's just going to be fine after that. I've graduated. I've got my degree. I'll start working.
And I will ask you, Jake, you have a degree in this field. Are you currently working in that field?
Not getting paid for it.
Hey, that's
I've
more
worked
than
on
even
a couple movies.
That's
but
more than I can even
really.
say.
So that's why I would say that the movie kind of hit me at home, kind of. Not kind of, it really hit me at home. But a movie I could maybe compare this to might be something like Superbad.
I haven't seen it.
Guess what we're doing next week? Superbad, baby.
Despite the fact that last time we said we were either going to do Rocky or The Godfather, we're like, fuck it, Clerks.
Well, you know what? Neither of them are on Netflix.
That is, or Hulu. Or Amazon Prime for free.
Right. Maybe on Vudu with ads. Yeah. So like maybe Superbad, maybe Office Space.
I could see Office Space.
Maybe those are like the kind. If you're into those movies, you might be interested in this movie.
Anything with really snappy dialogue, I think also works.
Yeah.
It's one thing that was a little off-putting, is that people don't talk the way they talked in this movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say it almost kind of felt like that Family Guy spoof on a '40s movie. Fast Talking High Pants.
Oh yeah.
Kind of. Well, actually, the '90s had high pants also.
Yeah.
So kind of like that.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. That was. Yeah. But yeah, snappy dialogue. I think if you like films with real snappy dialogue, and this could honestly almost have been a stage play.
Yeah.
Single
it
location
almost felt
movie.
a little theatrical.
Single location movies loan themselves well to if you ever want to make a stage adaptation of something. I think Clerks would work well on.
Do you want to make a stage adaptation of Clerks for the Starlight Theater?
No. I mean, if I got paid to, sure, but
You don't want to do that just for the shits and giggles?
not really.
Well, I don't think Kevin Smith would sue you, so
Probably not.
he doesn't own it anymore, though. Miramax does, and they are definitely looking to make some money
Yeah.
now.
They're like, fuck.
We just lost the Godfather of Miramax. We need to make some money.
But fuck that guy. So
So let's get to the final question: does it live up to the hype?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I would say this movie definitely lives up to the hype. For yeah, I've heard about it and been told it's like, you've seen these movies, why haven't you fucking seen Clerks?
That's the basis behind this podcast. Is you've seen these movies, why have you seen this?
Well, I guess it was more, you fucking seen Yoga Hosers, but you haven't seen Clerks? Yes. But now I have, so.
Yeah, I like this movie a lot. I enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
But it definitely wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So I think that was more of what I hyped it up to myself. Mm. Just because hearing Kevin Smith talking about it, and he even shits on it kind of too. I mean, he's proud of what he's made, but he acknowledges it for being what it is. It's a first-time film, first-time feature film at that. And I kind of just assumed he was being a little self-deprecating and like saying like, oh, I'm the kind of guy who makes movies like Clerks, and then laughs it off. So, but I mean, it's better than what he's kind of made it out to me to me. Mm-hmm. And then I hyped it up past what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was this huge monumental movie, and it is for him.
Yes.
So it just took a little reconciling of, oh, this is different, but I still like it.
Yeah, it's one that like so
I don't know
far
if any of that made sense.
I get you. Like, you got it kind of undersold from Kevin Smith, but at the same time, it's like, this is Clerks. It's a movie you gotta see.
Right.
And so it's like, well, Kevin Smith, uses it self-deprecatingly, but everybody else is like, you've got to fucking see Clerks. So you got to meet that in the middle. And again, like you said, I don't think Kevin Smith is definitely proud of it. Mm-hmm. But I think he's also the type of person who's like, yeah, but also it's not like The Godfather, but to be fair, I don't know if I'd want something like either super highbrow or like super special effectsy from Kevin Smith.
Right.
Like, I want Kevin Smith to just make the movie about like regular schlubs doing stuff. Like I think that's definitely where he shines. I mean, obviously, out of the 3 movies of his I've seen, I think Dogma is the best of the 3. Mm-hmm. But and that's not particularly about just Joe Schmo going about his life, but you know, I think that's definitely where Kevin Smith shines, considering he's got 6 movies in the Clerks, the View Askew universe. Because you got Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Clerks 2, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Dogma. That's 6. I don't know if there's any more.
Well, they're doing the Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yep.
They're currently in the process of doing that. I think that's it.
Or is it going to be Clerks 3? Because I remember him talking about Clerks 3.
It's called Jay and Silent Bob the reboot or something. It has reboot in the name.
Okay.
And Jay and Silent Bob are the main names on it.
Yeah. But, I mean, they were also the main names on Strike Back, so.
Yeah. I mean, they are the main characters of that movie.
Yeah, so. Haven't seen them.
Oh, I haven't seen it in a long time.
Again, I've already listed the 3 Kevin Smith movies I've seen.
What about Live Free or Die Hard? You've seen that one.
He didn't direct that one.
He had a lot to do with it.
Okay, but he didn't direct it.
I think he fucking wrote it. I think he directed it for part of it.
Okay, but he's not listed as the director on IMDb.
Well, maybe he wasn't the final director, but I'm pretty sure he directed a portion of it. And then Bruce Willis fucking got him fired from the director spot. Because he and Bruce Willis did not get along.
No, they did not. He is not listed under a writer, and he is not listed as a director either.
Well, I know he rewrote some of the parts of that movie, though.
Well, then he didn't get credit for him, because he's not listed as a writer. Producer, nope. I mean, he might have had a slight hand in it, but... Oh, you're going to the Die Hard wiki?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, he just rewrote the lines for his Warlock character.
Okay. And also the two, you know, then... Well,
okay, so he just wrote his own lines then.
yeah.
That's what I misunderstood. I assume when he was saying that he rewrote those lines because Bruce Willis didn't like them, that he must have had a say in how the movie was made.
Yeah, no.
They must have just deferred to him, though, since they knew he was a writer anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
And unfortunately, Kevin Smith doesn't like this, though, like Bruce Willis, though according to this, Bruce Willis doesn't think they have any bad blood, but I only ever hear Kevin Smith talk bad about Bruce Willis, so...
Yeah. And to be fair, I hear more bad shit about Bruce Willis than I do about Kevin Smith, so...
Yeah, same. But, you know, Bruce Willis, if you ever like to come on the podcast and defend yourself, we're happy to have you on, buddy. We can't pay you an appearance fee, though.
Silent Bob's here, and he hasn't said shit, so... I think it's going to be kind of a one-sided argument.
Yeah.
If you come on. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much sums up Clerks.
Yeah, I think you should definitely watch it if for whatever reason you have not yet seen it. But it is weird that this is our first one that neither of us have seen.
Yeah, it almost kind of made the conversation a little harder because neither of us had like any kind of nostalgia reference for going back to the movie and saying, "Oh, do you remember this, and this part? Like, what'd you think of this when you saw this?" Kind of thing.
We're both just like
Trying to remember the movie.
Yeah, it's not one that we've both watched a bunch of times by now. But and I think that I agree. It made the conversation a little harder, but I also think then we focused on the thing that we both found. Like we found the technical as people who worked on films, and because the story is kind of bare bones. You focus on the technical for this, and did have that feel again, not in any negative way. I feel like it had that student film kind of a vibe to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it takes from the film. I'd say it adds to its charm.
Yes.
Almost.
Because it's just it's a different style. Like that really is kind of almost a style unto itself, where it's like this is the person's first film, and you just kind of go like, you see some of the stuff and you see like their later works, but then you go back to that and you're just like, it's interesting that they made those decisions back then, like on how to edit, how to block everything and all that stuff.
Thinking back, when I think back to when I took international film history, it kind of reminds me of a lot of like foreign films that were done in maybe the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
I think it was around then, like some French films, and there was one Italian film, I think, that was similar, kind of. And I have no idea. I mean, I can't remember what the dialogue was because I don't remember the subtitles that well.
Yeah.
But from like tone and then also kind of the pacing of the movie, it reminds me of that. And then obviously they're both in black and white.
Yeah.
The ones that I'm trying to remember and think about. So it vaguely reminded me of European films I've seen, old European movies.
Yeah, I can't think of any that I've personally seen, but I get what you're saying.
Right, I just was kind of, that just reminded me of that all of a sudden for some reason. So, I don't know.
No, hey, I get you, man.
But yeah, so I think the general consensus is we like the movie, though.
I 100% agree with that.
Would you recommend it?
I would recommend this one.
Would you who would you not recommend this movie to? Maybe anyone older than 50.
Yeah, if strong language is a deal breaker for you, maybe don't watch this one.
Or silliness.
If you're 5, maybe don't watch this movie. If you're Bruce Willis, maybe don't watch this movie.
I would say,
let's be honest, Bruce Willis has probably seen it.
I think maybe the demographic for this movie might be from 15 to like 50.
Yeah.
I think if you're older than 50, when you kind of look at this movie, you're like, wow, why are they so angsty? What are they so worried about? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if you're any younger than 16 or 15, you kind of have no frame of reference for working or having to drive anywhere.
Yeah.
And dealing with any kind of problems that they deal with.
Yeah.
So I think when you just get to 15, 16, it's kind of when you might start to understand some of the stuff that they're talking about.
See, but I think honestly, like there's obviously life experience for them. So I would almost say like early 20s would probably be like the right demo for it, because
that's probably the peak. I was just kind of giving a range to where people might start enjoying it,
Yeah, that's fair.
And then when it tapers off also. Which is funny because Kevin Smith's getting to be 50 almost.
Yeah. What was it? He just posted something how it dawned on him the movie is now older than he was when he made it.
Oh, shit. That's weird. It's weird to think about. Yeah, he's 49, so. Or 48, and then he could turn 49. I don't know when his birthday is.
I don't know either.
Oh. He's 48. He'll be 49 in August.
Oh, yeah. We still have the Die Hard wiki up on Kevin Smith's page. Back in his like early 2000s look, though, with the glasses and the hockey jersey and the spiky hair.
Yeah. Now he's got a big old bald spot on the back of his head.
That's probably why he always wears a cap.
Yeah, the white backwards hat, yeah.
Yeah. But Kevin Smith, if you're listening, please come on this show. We'd love to have you.
I love your podcasts and your movies.
Yeah. I mean, I don't listen to your podcasts as much. I probably should. I mean, I'm subscribed to Fat Man on Batman, but I watch that only sparingly.
Then there's Batman Beyond, Schmodcast, fucking Hollywood Babylon. There's so many podcasts he has.
Well, yeah, but man, anytime Kevin Smith is a guest on something, that's an instant like have to listen to, have to watch, which is weird to me. Like I don't want to sit down and just listen to his Kevin Smith podcast, but if he's part of something else that's not specifically his, I'm like, absolutely, I'm interested. So
I do that with a lot of people too, but he's really good on the Joe Rogan podcast.
I mean,
would you listen to one Joe Rogan podcast, John? Just one.
I just don't care enough about Joe Rogan. Like
It's not for him. It's for the conversation with someone else.
Yeah, I get that. It's just I don't care enough, and I don't mean that to be contrarian. It's just the premise of the podcast, whatever it might actually be, it just like doesn't interest me.
It's just hanging out and talking to the person.
And smoking weed, I guess. But
they don't do that every time.
No, but they definitely do on the Kevin Smith one.
Yes, they do.
And also
I listened to the review for Spider-Verse the other day, and then towards the end of it, when they're talking about like how emotionally it got to them, I swear to God, I fucking hear Kevin Smith strike up his lighter. I'm like, okay.
Wait, what podcast was this on?
Fat Man Beyond.
Gotcha.
Him and
Mark Bernardin.
Thank you, Mark Bernardin.
Because he's the other one on Fat Man and Batman.
Yeah. But yeah, there's like maybe 15, 20 minutes left of the podcast, and he's striking something up. Like, okay. I mean, you might as well just been doing it through the whole thing. Why wait till the end?
I mean, he might.
It's when they're talking about the real meat and potatoes of the movie.
Yeah. He knows they're wrapping up, so he's like, all right, I can start doing this. It'll take a moment or two to get to my system anyways. I assume. I've never done weed before. So Kevin, if you do come onto our... Mr. Smith, I apologize. If you do come onto our podcast...
Bring your own shit.
That and I currently work a job where I can't have marijuana in my system, so I'd really appreciate you actually just not while you're here.
Just blow it up, not in his face.
Because they random test. They actually do.
All right. So that was Clerks podcast.
That was the Clerks podcast.
Well, not the Clerks podcast. It was Late to the Show podcast on
About
Clerks.
Yes.
Just so you know, we're not talking about Clerks every week.
It's the best. What was it? The greatest idea or worst idea? What was it? The one called where the guys from New Zealand watched Grown Ups 2 every week for a year and talked about it.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah, I think it was either the greatest idea podcast or the worst idea podcast. I don't remember which one it was called, but they watched Grown Ups 2 every week for a year and talked about it every week. And then they had one, I think the sequel one, they did Paul Blart 2. But no, we're not doing that with Clerks.
They did 52 episodes just on
Grown Ups 2. Yes.
Oh, sounds boring.
How
many listens did that get? How many downloads?
A lot. Like,
really?
It was actually a very popular podcast.
Shit. Do you want to do that?
No. I don't want to watch. Quick aside, I actually did not mind the first Grown Ups movie.
Yeah, I didn't either. The second one was horrible.
I have no desire to see the second one.
It was so bad. For as okay as the first one was, the second one is infinitely more terrible.
The closest I ever got to seeing Grown Ups 2 is me and Nick went to see Pacific Rim, the first one. And we go into the theater, we sit down, trailers play, and then Kevin James's fucking yearbook photo pops up. It's like, Kevin James. And we're like, we're in the wrong movie theater. And we got up and left. And we looked, and it was the theater like one door over. And we're like, shit. And we missed like a trailer. And that was it. And we're like, cool.
That being said, sorry, Happy Madison. I really appreciate you guys. But I just really did not like Grown Ups 2. So it was pretty raunchy for me to say it was horrible. But I didn't like it. Sorry.
Adam Sandler,
I like
if you'd like to come on.
Other movies that you guys have done. But you know what? Don't bring back the burp snart. Don't bring that back in any movie you do. That was stupid. John, I'll explain to you later what the burp snart is.
Wasn't that in Grown Ups?
No, it's just in Grown Ups too.
Then it was in the trailer because I remember that because it's the burp, sneeze, and fart at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do it like 20 times throughout the movie.
I swear to God, that was in Grown Ups 1 too.
No, it's not.
I don't remember. It's been a while.
It's not because it's that ridiculous. I know.
Then it was in the trailer for Grown Ups 2.
Probably.
Because I know I've seen it.
That sounds like a trailer part of the movie. Yeah. All right. So
are we going to discuss what we're going to do next week, or are we just going to say fuck it because we'll probably change it before then?
You know what? I think next week we're going to do Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Ah, good choice. I've never seen it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, never. Not once.
Oh. Well, I have this recording here that says you did, motherfucker.
Shut up.
Next week, I don't know what we're going to be doing next week.
We're going to do some fucking movie. Shocker. Clerks isn't on there, so we don't have to delete that one.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, man. We need to start updating this fucking list, though.
Do we? Because we haven't watched any of these.
No, I know, but we need to, like, kind of get these, like, rotating through and getting, like...
Oh, start deleting some of them?
It's like, we're not going to watch this one. Let's fucking delete it type of thing. This is behind-the-scenes stuff that you guys get to listen to, or might get cut out at the end. Who the fuck knows? I mean, yeah, obviously there's some on there we want to watch. You could probably delete that Vimeo link, considering that was for Death of Superman Lives.
Hey, got that one out of the way.
Though I will probably watch that documentary again. That was a fucking good documentary. Yeah. If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to that episode. Or go watch the fucking movie. It's on Vimeo in its entirety.
So maybe we should go back to another movie that one of us has seen that the other one hasn't.
I mean, we could do that. What on that list? I mean, if you've seen Batman v Superman.
Yes.
All right, so we've both seen that one. I don't know why. Have you seen the Ultimate Edition, though? Have you seen the Director's Cut? Mm-hmm. Okay. Shit.
Have you seen Big Lebowski?
No.
You haven't?
I've not seen The Big Lebowski.
That one's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I have it on Blu-ray.
And also, we need to be drinking White Russians while we talk about it.
That can be done.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that one then?
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do The Big Lebowski.
Okay, cool. I just saw it in theaters, actually.
Oh, shit, that's right. It came back. It was in theaters again.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't say it.
I know. Because you may have said, yeah, I saw it in theaters a few months ago. You were there with me, Jake.
Don't you remember?
All right, so next week we're going to be doing The Big Lebowski.
Unless we change it.
See you guys later. Don't be late.
Don't be late.